What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And something took place about a month and a half ago that I just couldn't make sense of. There was a story that came out about, I guess, this man and lady out in Arizona who overheard the president doing one of his press conferences, and he mentioned hydroxychloroquine. And he said that, there's some good things happening. And of course, the media went berserk. What? If he mentions it, then we have to take the opposite position. Surely, if Trump said it's going to help people, obviously it's going to kill people. Whatever Trump says, it has to be the opposite, totally. And so we soon heard after Trump made this announcement and was attacked by the media that a husband and wife decided to go ahead and take this stuff, and it led to this man dying and the wife becoming sick. And I scratched my head. I said, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Now, usually, when something seems fishy or doesn't make sense, most of the time, it doesn't make sense and you should investigate it. Not encourage it, validate it, or just immediately approve and put your stamp on it and say, well, it's got to be the way it appears. Usually, if it appears a little suspicious, it's probably suspicious. So, the media ran with it, and of course, Trump, he's responsible for killing folks because he made the suggestion about this drug. Let's listen to how they covered it, and I think I got a little clip here from Tucker Carlson to kind of refresh our memory. Let's listen.
Sad story from Arizona. A man died and his wife was gravely injured after they apparently tried to self-medicate against coronavirus after taking chloroquine phosphate at home.
Okay.
Now, they didn't take the drug the president has talked about on television, and we've talked about quite a bit on this show. Instead, they ate aquarium cleaner. Nobody suggested they do this. It didn't matter. CNN said, it was Trump that killed them.
Trump?
A game changer. That is how President Trump describes the anti-malarial drug chloroquine. It's now one of 69 drugs being investigated as potential treatment against coronavirus. The problem, it has not yet been approved. And in Arizona...
Now, instead of waiting for the results to come in about this drug, he leads in with the sarcasm. A game changer. That's how President Trump described it. So he comes in with the sarcasm, and he says one of 69 other drugs that are, the problem is it haven't yet been proven. Well, and why don't you wait until that happens before you decide to bring all your sarcasm to your report, Mr. News Reporter? But let's continue.
One man has died after an apparent attempt to self-medicate with that drug.
You hear that?
So CNN never mentioned that it was in fact a different drug, and the guy ate fish tank cleaner. They didn't tell their viewers that.
No, they didn't.
That's not journalism, it's lying.
That's what it is, Tucker. Now, the problem with... Oh, wait, there might be some more? Let me see.
No better. NBC News, BuzzFeed, the New York Times, among others, all suggested it was the president's fault that a guy ate aquarium cleaner. Again, a different drug with a similar name.
I see.
Dr. Mark Siegel is fired.
Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when I first heard about it, I said, now wait, that doesn't make sense. That a grown behind man and his wife decides, since we are watching the president and he mentions hydroxychloroquine, I'm going to go take a look at my fish cleaner and say, you know what, they got something similar, was a droxy something or majigger. I think this might do it. Hun, why don't we go ahead and take a couple pills of this and see if it could make us a little bit better, keep us inoculated from receiving this virus that's going around. It didn't make sense. And usually when it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So now let's get some updates. I think I got a little clip from Mark Dice. He did some investigative work, and some other people too. Let's hear what happened recently and what's going on with that whole case.
Trump said it cured the coronavirus, according to CNN. Because he was talking about hydroxychloroquine, and the fish tank cleaning tablets have chloroquine in them, and it kind of sound the same, and it's a derivative of the same chemical. And so he supposedly took it upon himself to mix it in his soda and drink it just to make sure that he wouldn't catch the corona. Well, the guy's wife is under investigation for homicide because all of his friends said that there wasn't a chance in hell that he was dumb enough to drink fish tank cleaner. And what surprised, the woman was a registered Democrat, and Federal Elections Commission's records show that she donated to an anti-Trump super PAC whose slogan was that they were part of the anti-Trump resistance. So it appears that this woman, who obviously has Trump derangement syndrome, had a light bulb go off in her head after MSNBC and CNN were complaining about the president talking about hydroxychloroquine, that her fish tank cleaner was made of chloroquine, and then possibly crushed those tablets up, mixed them in her husband's soda, and killed him. Then she drank.
Now, this sheds a lot of light on my doesn't make sense comment, because see, when the news do something like assign some type of blame to someone else in regards to a grown man and grown woman's decisions, you have to question the motive of the news, especially if what these grown-ups did doesn't make any sense, and they as grown-ups should be responsible for their own behavior, yet somehow the media redirects the blame towards the president. You always got to have a light bulb go off and say, well, why would you do that? Why would you make the president responsible for 2 adults taking fish cleaner? And why would they do that? See, you're trying to make me believe now and belittling the intelligence not only of me and the rest of your audience, but also of the 2 people who did it. Unless these 2 people were diagnosed as being special, and I don't mean in a good way. I'm not talking like special because you're a great athlete or something like. I'm talking special because the elevator doesn't all the way go to the top. Unless they were diagnosed with being special. For them as an adult to take that, I would be embarrassed to run that on my news station and try to somehow redirect the blame towards the president. Because my first thought as an adult would be like, well, why would they do something like that? I mean, obviously, they know that President Trump is talking about a regulated drug that's been used and prescribed by doctors versus this fish cleaner that's designed to do something totally different. It doesn't have a dual purpose. It doesn't say, well, these tablets will clean your fish tank along with flushing out your system from any bacterial viruses too. So just in case you wonder, after you drop a couple pellets in and clean up the fish tank, throw a couple back in your mouth, and then after a while you start feeling, some things flush out. It gives you a cleanse. It cleanses you out. Nobody in their right mind should be thinking about doing something like that. And the news should be questioning it immediately. But they didn't, because all they saw was President Trump said this person did this, and now we're going to go ahead and mesh these 2 together, even though there's no correlation. They didn't question the woman. They jumped out there on this woman's side and tried to make a connection, and it shouldn't have been one, only to find out that this woman is under investigation for potentially killing her husband. Now, other reports also say that his friends were saying, wait, that doesn't make any sense. This guy wasn't some dude that suffered from mental illness or just plain out stupidity. He was a highly intelligent person, and his friends were saying there's no way in heck that this dude would have done this. And in further investigation, we find that his wife was crazy and deranged. She was yelling at him all the time. One time threw a bird nest at him. And another time got mad because he changed up the Windows settings on her laptop. So she just smashed the laptop. Had the police called on her as well. And she was also a mega donor to the DNC and was a avid hate Trump person. I can't stand the man. He's disgusting. And now it appears that she might have taken an advantage of the whole scenario. Like, wait a minute, I could get rid of my husband and stick it to Trump at the same time. Also, we find that she would daily prepare his vitamins in some type of cocktail. Could it be? I'm just wondering, could it be that she slipped in some of those tablets in there, the amount that would kill him, and then would just take the little lesser amount for herself, just sort of make her get a little woozy and drowsy, but would kill him? Because it would look real suspicious if he just died and it shows that she didn't take nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was, probably thinking like a diabolical scheme, criminal mastermind like that. You got to kind of, come up with your alibi and all that stuff. But could it be that all of this happened now? If this comes out that she killed her husband to try to frame Trump and the media assisted her narrative. Wow. You think they'll come back out and apologize? You think they'll rerun that story? You think they'll even talk about it? Well, today in the news, we find out that the woman who allegedly took fish cleaner and her husband, actually, she murdered her husband trying to pin it on Trump like we do every day. We get on TV and try to pin all these things on Donald Trump, regardless of whether it makes sense or not. And that is them setting themselves up for more failure, more than they've already set themselves up for. I don't know how much more failure the liberal media can tolerate. However, due to their ignorant audience that supports them and probably will never even find out about these new updates concerning the mysterious fish tank poisoning situation, they'll continue until they get exposed by their audience and go down to maybe one, maybe even negative viewers. They're going to continue doing this. But anyway, I'm going to keep blasting them on my show. So thanks for checking me out, y'all. Don't forget, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and on my radio blog talk show every Wednesday night live, 7:30, which is tonight. So tune in. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. And check, make sure you're still subscribed and your notifications are set to all. If you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link in the bottom of this video to do that as well. And I would also advise you to check out Extreme Tees, my sponsor. If you like something, put Kevin in a promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. Can't beat that with a baseball bat. And other than that, we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. God bless.